Everything I thought I knew about being a mother was about to be torn apart in one sentence. It was 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon in late September when my daughter looked me straight in the eyes and asked the question that would shatter everything I thought I knew about our relationship. I was standing at the bus stop on Maple Avenue, groceries in my arms, when her silver Honda pulled up beside me. The same silver Honda I'd bought her 4 years ago as a wedding gift. "Mom, why are you taking the bus?" Jennifer asked through the rolled-down window, her voice carrying that tone. "You know the one that says she's already judged you before you've even answered." I shifted the grocery bags, feeling the plastic handles cutting into my palms. "Oh, honey, I was just running some errands downtown. The bus is fine." She put the car in park right there in the middle of the street, not caring about the cars backing up behind her. "No, seriously, Mom. Where's your car? Did you sell it or something?" The September sun was beating down on my neck. I could smell exhaust from the idling cars. My hands were starting to sweat. And then I said it, the words that would expose everything. "Jennifer, this car right here, the one you're sitting in, this is the car I gave you for your wedding. Remember?" Her face went blank, not surprised, not grateful, just blank. Like I'd just told her something completely irrelevant. And then Michael's voice came from the passenger seat. My son-in-law. The man I'd welcomed into our family with open arms. "Oh, yeah, we gave that car to my mom. She needed it more." I stood there on that sidewalk, feeling like someone had punched me in the stomach. The groceries got heavier. The sun got hotter. And somewhere behind me, a car honked. You gave it to Barbara?" My voice came out smaller than I meant it to. "Mom, don't make this weird," Jennifer said, already putting the car back in drive. "We'll talk about this later." And she drove off. In the car I'd bought her. The car that had cost me $22,000. The car I'd saved for 3 years to afford. The car I'd presented to her on her wedding day with tears in my eyes. But what they didn't know was that in 37 days, everything would change. What they didn't know was that I still had the original bill of sale. And what they really didn't know was that I was about to stop being the mother who sacrificed everything and became the woman who finally fought back. If you've ever been taken for granted by the people you love most, leave a comment below. And if you want to hear how this ends, hit that like button right now. Because trust me, you're not going to believe what happened next. My name is Helen. I'm 69 years old. And this is the story of how my own daughter broke my heart and how I learned to put it back together. Let me take you back to where this all started. To understand what happened on that September afternoon, you need to understand who I was, who Jennifer was, and how we got here. I gave birth to Jennifer on March 15, 1989, at 6:23 in the morning at St. Mary's Hospital in Portland, Oregon. She weighed 7 pounds, 4 ounces. She had my eyes and her father David's nose. David and I had been married for 8 years at that point, and Jennifer was our miracle baby. We'd tried for so long. David worked as an accountant for a manufacturing company. I was a registered nurse at St. Mary's, working the night shift in the emergency room. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. We lived in a modest 3-bedroom house on Oak Street, and we thought we had forever ahead of us. I remember the first time Jennifer smiled at me. She was 6 weeks old, lying in her crib in the nursery we'd painted pale yellow. The morning sun was coming through the window, and she just looked up at me and smiled. My heart felt like it would explode. David and I gave Jennifer everything we could. Piano lessons starting at age 7, summer camp every year, a sweet 16 party with 43 guests. When she wanted to go to Oregon State University to study business, we made it happen. David took on extra tax clients during the season. I picked up overtime shifts, working 50, sometimes 60 hours a week. I remember one particular night during her sophomore year of college. It was February 2008, and the economy was starting to tank. David came home from work at 9:30 p.m., exhausted, his shirt wrinkled, his eyes red. We sat at the kitchen table, the same oak table we'd bought when we first got married, and we looked at our finances. "Jennifer's tuition is going up again next semester," David said, rubbing his temples. "Another $4,000. "We'll figure it out," I told him. reaching across to hold his hand. "We always do." And we did. We refinanced the house. We cut back on everything. No vacations, no eating out. We drove our cars into the ground. My 1999 Toyota Camry had 234,000 miles on it by the time Jennifer graduated. On May 16, 2011, we watched Jennifer walk across that stage in her cap and gown. David squeezed my hand so tight it hurt. We were so proud. She'd done it. We'd done it. Together. But on September 3, 2012, everything changed. David collapsed at work. A massive heart attack. They called me at the hospital where I was working. I remember running through the corridors, still in my scrubs, my hands shaking so badly I could barely push open the doors to the cardiac unit. He was already gone by the time I got there, 54 years old. The funeral was on September 8th. Jennifer flew in from Seattle, where she'd gotten her first job at a marketing firm. She held my hand during the service. We cried together. We were all each other had left. But here's what I didn't know then. Here's what I wish someone had told me. Grief doesn't just hurt you, it can change you. And sometimes it changes the people around you in ways you never see coming. After David died, I threw myself into taking care of Jennifer. It was the only thing that made sense. She was 23, just starting her career, living in a tiny studio apartment in Seattle that cost $1,400 a month. She was struggling, so I helped. When her car broke down in November 2012, I sent her $2,000. When she needed a new laptop for work in March 2013, I sent $600. When she called crying because her apartment had bed bugs and she needed to move immediately, I sent her first and last month's rent, $3,800. I sold David's coin collection for $4,200. I sold his golf clubs for $375. I sold our wedding china, the set his mother had given us, for $800. Every time Jennifer needed something, I found a way. And then, in July 2014, Jennifer called me with news that made my heart soar. "Mom, I met someone," she said, her voice bubbling with excitement. "His name is Michael. He works in finance. Mom, I think he's the one." I cried. Happy tears. My baby girl was in love. Michael seemed wonderful at first. He was polite. He called me Mrs. Anderson, even after I told him to call me Helen. He had a good job at an investment firm, making $75,000 a year. He came from a good family. His mother, Barbara, was a retired schoolteacher. His father had passed away years before, just like David. In February 2015, Michael proposed to Jennifer at a restaurant overlooking Puget Sound. She called me at 10:37 p.m., screaming with joy. I screamed right back. We planned the wedding together over Skype calls every Sunday afternoon for 6 months straight. The wedding was set for September 19, 2015, a Saturday. Unseasonably warm weather for Seattle. Jennifer wanted everything to be perfect. The venue alone cost $12,000. Her dress was $3,200. The photographer was $2,500. I paid for all of it. I took out a loan against my house for $18,000. I emptied my savings account, which had $21,347 in it after David's life insurance had finally paid out. I stopped contributing to my retirement fund. I started eating canned soup for dinner to save money on groceries. But I wanted to give Jennifer something more. Something that would show her how much I believed in her future with Michael. Something that would help them start their life together. In June 2015, 3 months before the wedding, I went to the Honda dealership on Highway 99. I walked around the lot for an hour, looking at all the cars, and then I saw it. A silver 2015 Honda Civic. $22,450. The salesman's name was Tom. He was about 45, with graying hair and a kind smile. "Beautiful car," he said. "Is it for you?" "It's for my daughter," I told him. "She's getting married." Tom smiled. "That's really special. I bet she's going to love it." I put $15,000 down and financed the rest. My monthly payment was $334 for 60 months. I was 63 years old, and I'd be making car payments until I was 68. On the morning of September 19th, 2015, before the ceremony, I gave Jennifer the keys. We were in the bridal suite at the venue, and she was already in her dress. Her hair was in an elaborate updo. Her makeup was perfect. She looked like a princess. "Mom, what's this?" she asked, holding the keys with the Honda keychain. "It's parked out front," I said, my voice shaking with emotion. "It's yours, baby, a wedding gift from me." Jennifer stared at the keys for a long moment. Then she looked up at me, and I saw tears in her eyes. "Mom, you didn't have to do this." "I wanted to," I said, hugging her carefully so I wouldn't mess up her hair. "You're my whole world, Jennifer. I want you to have everything." She hugged me back, and for a moment, it felt like we were the only two people in the world. "I love you, Mom. I love you too, baby. More than you'll ever know." The wedding was beautiful. Jennifer walked down the aisle at 4:00 p.m. exactly. Michael's eyes filled with tears when he saw her. They said their vows. They kissed. Everyone applauded. I cried through the whole thing. At the reception, during the mother-daughter dance, Jennifer and I danced to In My Daughter's Eyes by Martina McBride. She rested her head on my shoulder, just like when she was a little girl. "Thank you for everything, Mom," she whispered. "For the car, for the wedding, for always being there." "Always, baby," I whispered back. "Always." I thought that was the happiest day of my life. I thought I'd done everything right. I thought I'd given my daughter the foundation she needed to build a beautiful life. But I didn't know that I was also teaching her something else. Something I never intended. I was teaching her that my love came with no boundaries. That there was nothing I wouldn't sacrifice. That I would always give everything, even when I had nothing left to give. And worst of all, I was teaching her that it was okay to take. You know what's funny about betrayal? It never happens all at once. It's like water slowly filling up a bathtub. You don't notice it rising until suddenly you're drowning. Looking back now, I can see exactly when the water started to rise. I just didn't want to believe it was happening. The first sign came on Thanksgiving 2015, just 2 months after the wedding. Jennifer and Michael had invited me to their apartment in Seattle for the holiday. I drove up from Portland, leaving at 6 a.m. to avoid traffic. It took me 3.5 hours. I brought homemade pumpkin pie, green bean casserole, and a bottle of wine that cost $24. When I arrived at 9:43 a.m., I knocked on the door of their apartment, apartment 3B. Michael answered. He was still in sweatpants and a ratty t-shirt. His hair was messy. He looked surprised to see me. "Helen, you're early," he said, not moving from the doorway. "Early? Honey, you said to come at 9:30. "Did I?" He scratched his head. "I thought I said noon." My stomach dropped. "Oh no, did I mix it up? I'm so sorry. Should I come back?" No, it's fine, come in." But his voice said it wasn't fine. I walked into their apartment, carrying all my dishes. Jennifer was sitting on the couch in her pajamas, scrolling through her phone. The TV was on, showing the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The apartment smelled like nothing. No turkey, no cooking. Nothing. "Hey, Mom," Jennifer said, barely looking up. "Hi, sweetheart. Happy Thanksgiving." I set down my dishes in the kitchen. "Where should I put these? And when should I start the turkey?" Jennifer looked up then, confused. "The turkey? For dinner? I thought we were having Thanksgiving dinner?" Michael and Jennifer exchanged a look. That look, the one where couples communicate without words, the one that makes everyone else in the room feel like an outsider. "Mom," Jennifer said slowly, "we decided we're going to Michael's mom's house for dinner. It's kind of a tradition for him." I felt my chest tighten. "Oh, okay. What time are we going?" Another look between them. "It's kind of just us this year," Michael said. "My mom's house is small, you know, and she already bought food for just 3 people. I stood there in their kitchen, holding a dish towel, feeling foolish. So, I drove 3.5 hours for... "You can hang out here for a bit," Jennifer offered, but she was already looking back at her phone. "We don't have to leave until 2. I stayed for 47 minutes. We watched the parade in silence. I made small talk that nobody responded to. At 10:30 a.m., I said I needed to get back to Portland, that I'd forgotten I had something to do. Jennifer barely looked up when I left. I cried the entire 3.5-hour drive home. But you know what I told myself? I told myself they were newlyweds. They needed to build traditions with Michael's family. I was being selfish. I needed to be more understanding. That's what I told myself. Looking back now, I see what I should have seen then. They didn't forget to tell me the plans changed. They just didn't care enough to include me. The second sign came on Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2015. I'd spent $147 on gifts for Jennifer and Michael, a cashmere scarf for her, a leather wallet for him. Nice things. Things I couldn't really afford but bought anyway. I called Jennifer at 7:15 p.m. to wish her Merry Christmas. She answered on the fourth ring. "Hey, Mom, can I call you back? We're kind of in the middle of something." I could hear laughter in the background, multiple voices, a party. "Oh, are you having people over? That sounds fun." "Yeah, just some friends. Listen, I really have to go. Merry Christmas, okay?" She hung up before I could say I loved her. I sat alone in my house that night, eating leftover Chinese food from 2 days ago, watching It's a Wonderful Life on TV. My phone sat silent on the coffee table. At 11:47 p.m., I got a text from Jennifer. Not a call. A text. "Thanks for the gifts, Mom. Talk soon." That was it. 41 characters. That's what our first Christmas apart was worth. But I told myself she was busy. Young people don't do phone calls anymore. I was being old-fashioned. I needed to adapt. The third sign came on my birthday, April 3rd, 2016. I turned 64 that day. I woke up at 7:30 a.m. and checked my phone, expecting a call from Jennifer. Nothing. By noon, still nothing. At 2:15 p.m., I called her. "Mom, I'm at work. Can I call you later?" "Oh, of course, honey. I just wanted to see if you remembered." "Remembered what?" My heart sank. "It's my birthday, sweetie." Silence on the other end. Then, "Oh my God, Mom. I'm so sorry. It completely slipped my mind. Work has been insane. Happy birthday." "Thank you, honey. Are you doing anything this weekend? Maybe we could—" "This weekend is really packed, but we'll get together soon, okay? I promise. Love you. Gotta go." She hung up. At 9:37 p.m. that night, she sent me a Facebook message. Not even a text. A Facebook message. "Happy birthday, Mom. Love you." With a balloon emoji. I told myself work is stressful. People forget things. It's not personal. But deep down, I knew. David never forgot my birthday. Not once in 25 years of marriage. Not once. The fourth sign came in July 2016. I needed surgery to remove my gallbladder. Laparoscopic cholecystectomy, the doctor called it. The surgery was scheduled for July 18th at 11 a.m. at Portland General Hospital. I called Jennifer a week before to let her know. "Honey, I'm having surgery next Monday. Nothing major, but I wanted you to know." "Surgery? For what?" "My gallbladder. The doctor says it's inflamed and needs to come out." "Oh, well, do you need me to come down?" I wanted to scream, yes. I wanted to say that I was terrified, that I'd be going under anesthesia, that David wasn't here to hold my hand anymore. But instead, I said, "Only if you can, honey. I know you're busy." "Yeah, this week is really bad at work. But let me know how it goes, okay?" The surgery went fine. I woke up at 2:30 p.m. in recovery, groggy and nauseated. My friend Carol from church was there, sitting in the chair beside my bed, holding my hand. Carol, not Jennifer. I texted Jennifer at 5:45 p.m. "Surgery went well, home now resting." She responded at 11:03 p.m. "Great, rest up." 2 words of acknowledgement. Rest up. Like I'd just come home from a yoga class, not surgery. But I told myself she probably didn't understand how serious it was. I shouldn't have downplayed it. I should have been more direct. The fault was mine for not communicating better. Do you see what I was doing? With every disappointment, every moment of being forgotten or dismissed, I found a way to make it my fault. Because the alternative, the truth, was too painful to accept. The fifth sign came in November 2016. I'd been making my car payments religiously, $334 every month on the 15th, without fail, even when it meant I couldn't afford my blood pressure medication and had to skip a month. Even when it meant I ate cereal for dinner 3 nights in a row, I paid for that car. On November 12th, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw a post from Barbara, Michael's mother. She'd tagged Jennifer and Michael in a photo. The photo showed Barbara standing next to the silver Honda Civic, the one I'd bought for Jennifer. Barbara had her arm around the car like it was a prize she'd won. The caption read, "My wonderful son got me this beautiful car. So blessed to have such a generous family." I stared at that photo for 10 minutes straight. My hands started shaking, my vision blurred. I called Jennifer immediately. It was 3:22 p.m. on a Saturday. "Mom, what's up?" "Jennifer, I just saw Barbara's post. The car, my car, the car I bought you. Why does Barbara have it?" Jennifer sighed, like I was being difficult. "Mom, we were going to tell you. Michael and I bought a new car, a BMW. We got a great deal. And Barbara's car died, so we gave her the Honda. It made sense. But that was my gift to you. And I appreciated it, Mom. But it's our car. We can do what we want with it. But I'm still making payments on it, Jennifer. $334 a month. I have 37 more payments to make. That's $12,458. Wait, you're still paying for it? I thought you paid it off." "No, honey. I financed it. I told you that. I'm paying for it until I'm 68 years old." Silence. Then, "Mom, that's not really our problem. You gave it to us as a gift. What we do with it is our choice." I couldn't breathe. "Jennifer, that's not fair. I gave it to you for you to use, not to give away, especially not while I'm still paying for it." "Mom, I don't want to argue about this. What's done is done. Look, I have to go. Michael and I are meeting friends for dinner." She hung up. I sat on my couch, staring at my phone, trying to understand what had just happened. How had my daughter, my sweet baby girl who used to bring me dandelions from the yard, become someone who could dismiss my feelings so easily? I called my sister Patricia that night at 8:47 p.m. Patricia lives in Sacramento and had always been my voice of reason. "Patty, I don't know what to do," I said, my voice cracking. "Honey, what happened?" I told her everything. The forgotten Thanksgiving, the Christmas without a phone call, the birthday that slipped her mind, the surgery she didn't come to, and now, the car. "Helen," Patricia said carefully, "I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with yourself. Are you sure Jennifer knows how much you sacrificed for her?" "What do you mean? Did you tell her that you took out a loan against your house for the wedding, that you emptied your savings, that you're eating soup for dinner because you can't afford groceries?" "No, but she should know. She's my daughter." "Should she? Or did you hide it all so she wouldn't feel guilty? Did you smile and tell her everything was fine when it wasn't?" I was silent because Patricia was right. I had hidden it all. I'd wanted Jennifer to feel loved, not burdened. I'd wanted to be the selfless mother who gave everything without complaint. And in doing so, I'd taught her that my sacrifices were effortless, that they cost me nothing. What do I do, Patty? You need to talk to her. Really talk to her. Tell her the truth, all of it. But I didn't, because I was afraid. Afraid that if I told her the truth, she'd see me as weak, as someone who couldn't handle my own life, as a burden. The sixth sign came in March 2017. I needed dental work, a root canal on my lower left molar. The dentist, Dr. Morrison, told me it would cost $2,100 without insurance. I only had basic coverage, which covered $700. That left me with $1,400 out of pocket. I didn't have $1,400. My savings account had $347 in it. I called Jennifer on March 9th at 6:15 p.m. "Hey, Mom." "Hi, honey. How are you?" "Good, good. Busy. What's up?" I hated asking. I hated it so much. But I was in pain. "Sweetheart, I need to ask you something. I need some dental work done, and I'm a little short. I was wondering if you could lend me some money, just until my next paycheck. Maybe $1,000? Another sigh. Mom, things are really tight right now. We just bought the BMW and the payments are killing us. Plus, Michael wants to take me to Hawaii for our anniversary, and we're saving for that. Hawaii? Yeah, for a week. It's going to be amazing. His friend has a timeshare we can use. I was in pain. Actual physical pain. And my daughter was going to Hawaii. Jennifer, this is for a root canal. I'm in pain, honey. I can't eat. Can't you just put it on a credit card or something? My credit cards are maxed out, sweetheart. Oh, well, I don't know what to tell you, Mom. We just don't have it right now. Maybe ask Aunt Patty. I ended up putting off the root canal for 4 months until I could save enough. I took extra shifts at the hospital, even though my feet ached and my back hurt. I was 64 years old, working 12-hour shifts so I could afford to fix my tooth, while my daughter went to Hawaii. But I told myself she was young. She didn't understand yet what it meant to struggle. When she was older, she'd understand. When she had kids of her own, she'd get it. The 7th sign came in October 2017. My car, the 1999 Toyota Camry with 263,000 miles on it, finally died. The transmission went out. The repair would have cost more than the car was worth. I was stranded. I called Jennifer on October 21st, a Saturday morning at 9:05 a.m. Mom, I'm sleeping. I'm sorry, honey, but my car died. The transmission is gone. So get a new car. I can't afford a new car. I'm still paying for yours. I paused. The one Barbara is driving. Silence. Then, Mom, are you going to throw that in my face forever? No, honey, I thought maybe, since Barbara has the car I bought you, maybe you and Michael could help me get something to drive? Just something basic, something used? Mom, we're not made of money. You need to figure this out yourself. You're the adult here. I felt like she'd slapped me through the phone. Excuse me? I'm sorry, that came out wrong. I just mean, you're 64 years old. You should have savings. You should have planned better. I can't keep bailing you out. Bailing me out. My daughter, who I'd given everything to, thought she was bailing me out. The irony would have been funny if it hadn't been so heartbreaking. I ended up buying a 2003 Ford Taurus from a used car lot for $3,800. I took out a high-interest loan at 22% APR. My monthly payment was $219 for 24 months. So now I was paying $334 a month for the car Barbara was driving and $219 for the car I was driving. $553 a month in car payments on a nurse's salary. I started picking up extra shifts on weekends. I stopped buying new clothes. I cut my own hair. I stopped heating my house above 62 degrees in winter. And you know what the worst part was? Jennifer never even asked if I was okay. She never called to check on me. She never said, Mom, how did you work out the car situation? She just assumed I figured it out. Because I always did. But I didn't see it yet. I didn't see that my daughter had learned that no matter what she did, no matter how she treated me, I would always be there, always paying, always sacrificing, always making it work. I didn't see that I had become invisible to her, except when she needed something. But I was about to find out just how invisible I'd become. And it would happen on a Tuesday afternoon in September at a bus stop on Maple Avenue. By the fall of 2018, something had fundamentally shifted in my relationship with Jennifer, though I couldn't name it yet. It was like watching a photograph fade in the sun, so gradual you don't notice until one day you can barely make out the image anymore. The 8th incident happened on January 14th, 2019. It was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I had the day off from the hospital. I decided to surprise Jennifer and Michael by driving up to Seattle. I'd been saving up, and I wanted to take them out to brunch, my treat. Just spend some quality time together. I arrived at their apartment at 10:37 a.m. I'd stopped at a bakery and bought fresh croissants for $12. I knocked on their door, excited to see their faces. Michael opened the door in gym clothes, earbuds in his ears. When he saw me, his face didn't light up. It fell. Helen, what are you doing here? Surprise! I wanted to take you and Jennifer to brunch. Is she home? He pulled out one earbud. She's still asleep, and we actually have plans today. We're going hiking with some friends at noon. Oh. I held up the bag of croissants, feeling foolish. Well, maybe we could have coffee quickly? I drove 3.5 hours. You drove up without calling first? I wanted it to be a surprise. My voice was getting smaller. Michael looked uncomfortable. Listen, that's really sweet, but you can't just show up unannounced. We have lives, you know. We make plans. I know, I just thought... Helen, I don't mean to be rude, but this is kind of intrusive. Intrusive. That word hit me like cold water. I was intrusive in my own daughter's life. Is everything okay? Jennifer's voice came from behind Michael. She appeared in yoga pants and an oversized t-shirt, her hair in a messy bun. When she saw me, she didn't smile. Mom, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong, honey. I just wanted to see you. Jennifer rubbed her eyes. Mom, you drove all the way up here without calling? I wanted to surprise you. That's not a surprise. That's showing up uninvited. She looked at Michael, then back at me. We're going hiking today. We've had it planned for 2 weeks. I could come with you, I offered, knowing even as I said it that it was desperate. Mom, it's a group of our friends. You'd feel out of place. Jennifer crossed her arms. Look, I appreciate the thought, but you need to call before you come over. This isn't appropriate. I stood there in their hallway, holding a bag of croissants that cost $12 I couldn't afford, being told I wasn't appropriate. By my own daughter. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'll go. I drove home crying so hard I had to pull over twice. But even then, I made excuses for them. They were right. I should have called. I was being clingy. I needed to give them space. The 9th incident came on Mother's Day 2019, May 12th. I waited all day for a call. I woke up at 7 a.m., expecting the phone to ring. By noon, nothing. At 3:47 p.m., I finally got a text, not a call, a text. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Love you. That was it. On Mother's Day, I got a text message. 19 characters, including the emoji. I texted back, Thank you, honey. Would love to hear your voice if you have time to call. She responded 47 minutes later. Super busy today. We'll call soon. She never called. Not that day, not the next day, not that week. I spent Mother's Day alone, eating a frozen dinner, watching other families on Facebook post pictures of their mothers with flowers and brunch spreads. Carol invited me to church and then to her daughter's house for dinner, but I declined. I didn't want to impose. I didn't want to be the sad woman without her own family on Mother's Day. Do you see what I mean when I say I was disappearing? I was turning into a ghost in my own daughter's life. The 10th incident happened in August 2019. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. Stage 2 hypertension, the doctor said. My systolic was reading 168/95. Dr. Patterson, my primary care physician, was concerned. Helen, this is serious, he said during my appointment on August 7th at 2:15 p.m. We need to get this under control. I'm prescribing medication, but you also need to reduce stress in your life. I almost laughed. Reduce stress. How was I supposed to reduce stress when I was working 50 hours a week to make car payments on 2 cars, one of which I wasn't even driving? The medication cost $147 a month even with insurance. I called Jennifer on August 10th at 6:30 p.m. Hey, Mom, what's up? Make it quick. We're about to watch a movie. Honey, I was at the doctor this week. I have high blood pressure now. Pretty serious. Oh, that's too bad. Are you on medication? Yes, but it's expensive. I'm calling because I'm struggling a bit financially and... Mom, I can't keep having this conversation. We're not your bank. You need to manage your money better. My heart was pounding. I could feel it in my ears. Jennifer, I'm managing the best I can. I'm still paying for the car that Barbara is driving. If you could just help with... That again? Mom, we gave you that car as a gift. What we did with it after is our business. You gave it to me. Jennifer, I bought that car. I'm still making payments. It was in my name. Legally, it was mine. I could do whatever I wanted with it. Her voice was cold, clinical, like she was explaining something to a child. When did you become so cruel? The words came out before I could stop them. Silence on the other end. Then, I'm not cruel for setting boundaries. Maybe you should talk to someone about why you think loving someone means bankrupting yourself for them. She hung up. I sat there holding my phone, my hands shaking, my heart racing. The number on the blood pressure monitor on my kitchen counter read 179/102. I had to take an extra dose of medication. That night, I pulled out my wedding album, the one with pictures of David and me, young and hopeful. I found a photo of Jennifer as a baby, sleeping in my arms. I remembered how her whole hand could wrap around just my pinky finger, how she used to cry if anyone else held her, how she only wanted me. Where did that baby go? When did she become this person who spoke to me like I was a burden? The 11th incident happened on September 19th, 2019, Jennifer and Michael's 4th wedding anniversary. I sent flowers to their apartment, a beautiful arrangement that cost $83. Roses, lilies, and baby's breath. I included a card. Happy anniversary to my beautiful daughter and son-in-law. 4 years of love and many more to come. Love always, Mom. At 7:22 p.m., I got a text from Jennifer. Got the flowers. They're nice? That was it. They're nice. $83. They're nice. I waited for a phone call, a thank you, something. Nothing came. But here's where it gets worse. On September 23rd, 4 days later, I saw on Jennifer's Instagram that they'd had an anniversary party at their apartment. 27 people in the photos. Friends, co-workers, and there, right in the center of one photo, was Barbara, Michael's mother, laughing, holding a glass of wine, wearing a necklace I recognized because I'd given it to Jennifer 2 Christmases ago. They'd had a party. They'd invited 27 people. They hadn't invited me, their own mother. I stared at those photos for hours. I zoomed in on Barbara's face, smiling, celebrating with my daughter, while I sat alone in Portland eating pasta from a can. I called my sister Patricia at 11:03 p.m. Patty, I don't think Jennifer loves me anymore. Oh, honey, of course she loves you. No, I mean it. I don't think she even likes me. I'm just someone who's useful when she needs money. Patricia was quiet for a moment. Helen, what would David say if he could see this? That broke me. I started sobbing. David would be horrified. David would have driven to Seattle and demanded Jennifer treat me with respect. David would have protected me. But David was gone, and I was alone. The 12th incident happened on Thanksgiving 2019. Once again, I wasn't invited to Jennifer and Michael's celebration. This time, I didn't even ask. I knew better. Carol invited me to her family's dinner, and this time, I accepted. I brought my pumpkin pie, the same recipe I'd made for Jennifer every year since she was 5. At Carol's daughter's house, I watched as 3 generations of their family laughed around the dinner table. Grandparents, parents, children. The grandmother, Gloria, was 82 years old. Her daughter Sarah kept bringing her food, making sure she had everything she needed. Gloria's grandchildren took turns sitting next to her, showing her photos on their phones, including her in conversations. I excused myself and cried in the bathroom at 4:37 p.m. Carol found me 10 minutes later. Helen, what's wrong? I worked my whole life to give Jennifer everything, and she can't even invite me to Thanksgiving dinner. Carol held my hands. Honey, have you told her how this makes you feel? She doesn't care how I feel. Or maybe she doesn't know. Maybe you've protected her from seeing your pain for so long that she genuinely doesn't understand. But I was too hurt to hear it, too angry, too tired. The 13th incident was the breaking point. It happened on February 14th, 2020, Valentine's Day. I was at work at the hospital, finishing up my shift. It had been a brutal day. We'd lost a patient, a 73-year-old woman who reminded me of my mother. I was exhausted, emotionally drained. My feet hurt. My back ached. At 6:52 p.m., as I was taking off my scrubs in the locker room, I called Jennifer. She answered on the 5th ring. Mom, This isn't a good time. I just needed to hear your voice, honey. I had a really hard day. Okay, well, I'm kind of in the middle of something. Michael made reservations at this amazing restaurant for Valentine's Day, and I'm getting ready. That sounds lovely. I tried to keep my voice steady. Maybe we could talk for just a minute. I lost a patient today, and I'm feeling... Mom, I really have to go. The reservation is at 7:30, and I still need to do my makeup. Jennifer, please, just 5 minutes. I really need... Mom, I don't have time for your neediness right now. I have my own life. I can't drop everything every time you're having a bad day. Her voice was sharp, annoyed. I'll call you later, okay? She hung up. I sat there in the locker room, still in my scrubs, staring at my phone. Neediness. She called me needy. I looked at myself in the mirror above the sink. I was 67 years old. I looked older. The stress, the extra shifts, the sleepless nights worrying about money had aged me. My hair had gone completely gray. I had deep lines around my eyes. My hands, the hands that had changed Jennifer's diapers and braided her hair and held her when she cried, looked old and worn. When had I become a burden to my own child? When had loving her become needy? I thought about David. I thought about how he'd worked himself to death trying to give Jennifer a good life. I thought about how proud he'd been at her graduation. And I wondered what he would think if he knew that all those sacrifices had led to this. Me, alone in a locker room at a hospital, being called needy by the daughter we'd given everything to. That night, I went home to my small house, the one that was half paid off before I took out the loan for Jennifer's wedding. I sat at my kitchen table with a calculator and all my financial documents spread out in front of me. I calculated every dollar I'd given Jennifer since David died. The wedding, $38,000. The car, $22,450. The emergency money I'd sent her, $8,200. The smaller gifts, the birthday presents, the Christmas presents, another $3,000 over the years, $71,650. That's what I'd given her. That's what my love had cost me in actual dollars, not counting the emotional cost, which was priceless. And what had I gotten in return? Text messages, dismissal, being called needy, being called intrusive, being told I was the problem for not managing my money better. I looked at my bank statement. I had $843 in my checking account, $57 in savings. I was 67 years old with $100,000 left on my mortgage, $39,000 in credit card debt, and $6,000 left in car payments. I had given my daughter everything, and I had nothing left, not even her respect. For the first time in 7 years since David died and I'd made it my mission to take care of Jennifer, I felt something shift inside me. It wasn't anger yet. It was something colder. It was clarity. I pulled out a box from the back of my closet. In it was every document from Jennifer's wedding, the receipts, the contracts, the loan paperwork, and there, at the bottom, was the bill of sale for the 2015 Honda Civic. I read through it carefully. The car was purchased by me. The loan was in my name. The gift letter I'd given to Jennifer stated clearly, "This car is a gift to Jennifer Anderson, soon to be Jennifer Davis, on the occasion of her wedding." Not to Jennifer and Michael. To Jennifer. Specifically, personally. I didn't know yet what I was going to do with this information. But something had awakened in me. Something that had been sleeping for too long. And then came that Tuesday in September 2020. The day at the bus stop. The day everything exploded into the open. I'd been shopping at the grocery store, using coupons for everything, buying the cheapest brands. My grocery bill was $43.17. I carried my bags to the bus stop on Maple Avenue because I couldn't afford Uber, and the bus was free for seniors. It was 2:47 p.m. The sun was hot. I was tired. My feet hurt. I had 2 bags of groceries that were cutting off circulation in my hands. And then Jennifer pulled up in the silver Honda Civic, the car I'd bought her, the car Barbara was supposed to be driving, but there was Jennifer behind the wheel. "Mom, why are you taking the bus?" And I told her. I reminded her about the car, and that's when Michael said those words. We gave that car to my mom. She needed it more. But here's what I didn't tell you before. Here's the part that made everything snap into place. After Jennifer drove away that day, I stood at that bus stop for another 12 minutes, waiting for the bus. And as I stood there, I saw the Honda Civic drive past again. Jennifer and Michael were arguing. I could see it through the windshield. Jennifer was gesturing wildly. Michael was shaking his head. The bus came. I got on. I rode home. I put away my groceries. And then I sat down at my kitchen table and I pulled out that bill of sale one more time. And I made a decision. I was done being invisible. I was done being the mother who gave everything and asked for nothing. I was done being called needy and intrusive and told I was the problem. I was 67 years old, and it was time to stop disappearing. It was time to fight back. The morning after the bus stop incident, I woke up at 6:17 a.m. with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. I didn't cry. I didn't make excuses. I made coffee, sat at my kitchen table, and I started making a list. Everything I knew, everything I had, every document, every receipt, every text message, every bank statement. I was building a case, though I didn't know yet exactly what kind of case it would be. At 9:03 a.m., I called the Honda dealership, the same one where I'd bought the car 5 years ago. Tom, the salesman, was still there. Tom, this is Helen Anderson. I bought a 2015 Honda Civic from you in June of that year. Do you keep records going back that far? We do, Mrs. Anderson. What do you need? I need a copy of everything. The bill of sale, the loan documents, the registration, everything. Can I ask why? I paused. Because my daughter gave away the car I'm still making payments on, and I need to know exactly what my legal rights are. There was a long silence. Then Tom said, I'll have everything ready for you by this afternoon. No charge. At 2:30 p.m., I drove to the dealership. Tom handed me a manila folder with every document related to the sale. He also gave me the name of a consumer rights attorney his sister had used. David Chen, Tom said. Tell him I sent you. He's good people. At 4:47 p.m., I was sitting in the office of David Chen, attorney at law. His office was in a modest building downtown, 3rd floor. The waiting room smelled like coffee and old books. David Chen was 46 years old, Asian American, with kind eyes and a firm handshake. I spread all my documents across his desk. The bill of sale, the loan agreement, the gift letter, the registration showing the car was in Jennifer's name, the Facebook post from Barbara claiming Michael had given her the car, every bank statement showing my monthly payments of $334. David Chen looked through everything for 17 minutes in silence. Then he looked up at me. Mrs. Anderson, do you want my legal opinion or my personal opinion? Both. Legally, you have a very strong case. You purchased this vehicle. You're still making payments on it. You gifted it specifically to your daughter, not to her and her husband jointly. The car is registered in her name, which means any transfer to a third party without your knowledge as the loan holder is legally questionable. You could potentially force the return of the vehicle or sue for the remaining loan balance. And personally? He leaned back in his chair. Personally, I think your daughter doesn't understand what you've sacrificed for her. And sometimes, the only way to make people understand is to show them consequences. But you need to ask yourself, what do you want here? Do you want the car back? Do you want the money? Or do you want your daughter to realize what she's done? I thought about that for a long moment. I want her to know that I'm not invisible, that I'm not a doormat, that you can't treat people like this, even if they're your mother. David Chen nodded. Then let's send some letters. Over the next 3 days, David Chen helped me draft 3 letters. The first was to Jennifer, sent via certified mail, requiring signature. It laid out the facts. I had purchased the car. I was still making payments. The car was gifted to her specifically. Any transfer to a third party without my consent as the loan holder and purchaser violated the terms of my gift. I was requesting either the immediate return of the vehicle or full repayment of the remaining loan balance. $12,106. The second letter was to Michael, also certified mail. It informed him that he had no legal right to transfer property that belonged to my daughter without proper documentation and without my knowledge as the actual purchaser. It requested return of the vehicle within 30 days. The third letter was to Barbara. It informed her that she was in possession of property that had been transferred to her without proper legal authority. It requested she return the vehicle within 30 days or face potential legal action. All three letters were sent on September 24, 2020, at 3:15 p.m. from the downtown post office. The waiting began. Day 1, September 25th. No response. Day 2, September 26th. At 2:47 p.m. my phone rang. Jennifer. I let it go to voicemail. She didn't leave a message. Day 3, September 27th. 3 missed calls from Jennifer. 1 text at 7:52 p.m. Mom, we need to talk. Call me. I didn't call. Day 4, September 28th. At 9:14 a.m., Michael called. I answered. Helen, what the hell is this letter about? It's about the car I bought for Jennifer that you gave to your mother without my permission. Without your permission? It was Jennifer's car. We can do what we want with it. Actually, Michael, you can't. I'm still paying for it, and according to my attorney, you had no right to transfer it. Silence. Then, your attorney? Yes. David Chen. Would you like his number? Michael's voice changed. Less aggressive, more uncertain. Helen, come on. Don't you think you're overreacting? Am I? I've paid $41,890 toward a car your mother is driving. I don't think wanting it back or being reimbursed is overreacting. $41,000? That can't be right. $22,450 for the car, plus interest, plus the down payment, plus taxes and fees. The math is in the letter. Another long silence. Let me talk to Jennifer. You have 30 days to respond, Michael. After that, my attorney will take further action. I hung up. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from power, from finally standing up for myself. Day 6, September 30th. At 11:22 a.m., Barbara called. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Helen, this is Barbara. Hello, Barbara. I got your letter. I don't understand what this is about. Michael gave me this car. It was a gift. Barbara, that car was my gift to Jennifer. Michael had no right to give it to you. I'm still making payments on it. You're still paying for it? Her voice sounded genuinely surprised. I didn't know that. Now you do. Helen, I can't just give the car back. I need it. My old car died, and I can't afford a new one. And there it was. The same excuse Jennifer had used. She needed it more. Barbara, I'm sorry about your situation, but this isn't my problem to solve. That car was purchased by me, for my daughter. It's being paid for by me. Every month, $334 comes out of my account so you can drive that car. I didn't know. Michael said it was from both of them. It wasn't. Barbara was quiet for a moment. What do you want me to do? Return the car to Jennifer within 30 days. What happens after that is between Jennifer and me. And if I don't? Then my attorney will take legal action against all 3 of you. Day 10, October 4th. Jennifer showed up at my house at 7:33 p.m. I was eating dinner, leftover chicken and rice. I heard her car pull up, heard her footsteps on the porch, heard her knock. I opened the door. She looked tired, angry, scared. Mom, can I come in? I stepped aside. She walked into my small living room, looking around like she was seeing it for the first time. Maybe she was. When was the last time she'd been here? Christmas 2018, almost 2 years ago? Mom, what are you doing? What is this about? It's about the car, Jennifer. The car I'm still paying for that Barbara is driving. I didn't know you were still paying for it. How could you not know? I told you when I bought it that I financed it. Did you think it just magically paid itself off? She sat down on my couch, the same couch David and I had bought in 1997. I didn't think about it. You didn't think about it, just like you didn't think about me on Thanksgiving, or Christmas, or Mother's Day, Or when I called you after losing a patient and you said I was being needy. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. You meant all of it. Because if you didn't mean it, you would have apologized before now. You would have called me back. You would have thought about me for 1 second. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I went to my kitchen table and picked up the folder I'd prepared. I'd been waiting for this moment. Do you know how much I've given you since your father died? Mom, don't. $71,650. That's how much. Your wedding, the car, the emergency money, all of it. Do you know what my savings account has in it right now? $57. Jennifer was crying now. I didn't ask you to do all that. You didn't have to ask. I'm your mother. But you know what? You did take it. You took every dollar. And then you gave away the car I'm still paying for and told me I was the problem for not managing my money better. Mom, please. I want the car back, Jennifer. Or I want $12,106. Those are your options. We don't have $12,000. Then get the car back from Barbara. We can't do that. She needs it. And I don't? Jennifer, I take the bus everywhere because I can't afford gas for my car because I'm making payments on 2 cars, one for me and one for your mother-in-law. Jennifer stood up, angry now. So what? You're going to sue us? Your own daughter? If I have to. This is insane. You're being vindictive and cruel. I laughed. Actually laughed. I'm being cruel? Jennifer, do you have any idea what you've done to me? Do you know what it feels like to be forgotten, to be dismissed, to be called needy when all I wanted was 5 minutes of your time after watching someone die? She was silent. I have been invisible to you for years, and I let it happen because I thought if I just kept giving, kept sacrificing, you'd eventually see how much I loved you. But all I taught you was that my love was worthless, that I was worthless. That's not true, isn't it? When was the last time you called me just to ask how I was? When was the last time you invited me to your home? When was the last time you treated me like I mattered? Jennifer couldn't answer. She stood there, tears running down her face, unable to find words. You have 23 days left, I said quietly. Either the car comes back to your possession, or I get the money, or my attorney files suit. Your choice. Jennifer left without saying goodbye. I watched her drive away, and I felt something I hadn't felt in 7 years. I felt strong. Day 15, October 9th. At 4:36 p.m., David Chen called me. Mrs. Anderson, I received a call from Jennifer's attorney. My heart skipped. She hired an attorney? She did. Peter Morrison. I know him. He's competent. They want to settle. Settle how? They're proposing to pay you back over time. $200 a month for the next 5 years. I did the math. That's $12,000. Not $12,106? Correct. They're asking you to waive the interest. What do you think I should do? That depends. Do you want the money or do you want to make a point? I thought about that. Can I have both? David Chen chuckled. Potentially. What did you have in mind? I want the full amount. $12,106, and I want a written apology from all 3 of them, Jennifer, Michael, and Barbara. Acknowledging what they did was wrong. Mrs. Anderson, I can probably get you the money, the apology. That's harder to enforce legally. But you can ask for it? I can absolutely ask for it. Day 20, October 14th. Jennifer called at 8:52 p.m. I answered on the 3rd ring. Mom, your attorney sent new terms. Yes. An apology? You want a written apology? Yes, Jennifer, I do. Because I don't think any of you understand what you did. And until you can put it in writing, I don't think you've learned anything. This is humiliating. Good, maybe it should be. She hung up. Day 25, October 19th. At 11:07 a.m., David Chen called. Mrs. Anderson, they've agreed to your terms. Full payment of $12,106 in a lump sum by November 15th, and written apologies from all 3 parties by October 30th. I sat down. They agreed? They did. My guess is they consulted with their attorney and realized they'd lose in court, and probably pay a lot more in legal fees. So I won? You won. I cried then. Not sad tears, relief tears, victory tears. For the first time in 7 years, I had stood up for myself, and I had won. Day 30, October 24th. 3 envelopes arrived via certified mail. The first was from Barbara. 1 page, handwritten. Dear Helen, I am sorry for accepting the car without knowing the full circumstances. I didn't realize you were still making payments, and I should have asked more questions. I will return the car to Jennifer immediately. I hope you can forgive me. Sincerely, Barbara. The second was from Michael, also handwritten, 2 pages. Helen, I apologize for giving away the car without consulting you. I was thinking only of my mother's needs and not about your sacrifice. It was wrong, and I should have been more considerate. I'm sorry for the pain I caused you. I will ensure full payment is made by the agreed date. Sincerely, Michael. The third was from Jennifer. Typed. 1 paragraph. Mom, I'm sorry for taking you for granted. I didn't realize how much you were still struggling financially, and I should have been more aware. I apologize for hurting you. I hope we can move forward. Love, Jennifer. I read all 3 letters twice. Barbara's felt genuine. Michael's felt obligatory. Jennifer's felt hollow, clinical, like she'd been forced to write it by her attorney. But I had them. I had written proof that they knew what they'd done was wrong. On November 14th, 2020, at 2:15 p.m., a check for $12,106 was delivered to my home via courier. I took it to the bank at 3:30 p.m. and deposited it. For the first time in 5 years, I had money in my savings account. Real money. Enough to breathe. Enough to stop taking extra shifts. Enough to heat my house properly this winter. On November 15th, I made my final payment on the Honda Civic. $334. The car was paid off. The loan was closed. Barbara had returned the car to Jennifer on October 28th. I saw photos on Facebook. Jennifer and Michael were now sharing one car, the BMW. It was inconvenient for them. Good. But here's the thing about winning. It doesn't feel the way you think it will. I thought that getting the money back would fix everything. I thought that forcing them to acknowledge what they'd done would make me feel whole again. But the truth is, you can't undo years of pain with a check and 3 letters. It's been 5 years now since that Tuesday at the bus stop. 5 years since I stood up for myself. And I want to tell you what happened next, because this is the part nobody talks about. The after. Jennifer and I haven't spoken in 4 years and 3 months. The last conversation we had was on January 8th, 2021, 2 months after the settlement. She called me at 6:47 p.m. on a Friday evening. Mom, are you happy now? You got your money. You humiliated us. What else do you want? I wanted you to understand, Jennifer. That's all I ever wanted. Understand what? That you kept a ledger of everything you ever gave me? That you see love as a transaction? That's not fair, isn't it? You sued your own daughter, Mom, over a car. It wasn't about the car. It was about respect. It was about being treated like I mattered. You could have just talked to me. I almost laughed. I tried talking to you for 7 years, Jennifer. You didn't hear me. You didn't want to hear me. There was a long silence. Then Jennifer said something I'll never forget. Maybe we're both right. Maybe you gave too much, and maybe I took too much. But I can't be around someone who throws my mistakes in my face forever. I need space, Mom. Real space. How much space? I don't know. Maybe permanent space. Those words hit me like a physical blow. You're cutting me out of your life? I'm your mother. And I'm trying to protect my mental health. I can't do this anymore. The guilt, the resentment, the constant reminders of everything I've done wrong. I just can't. She hung up. That was 4 years ago. I haven't heard from her since. At first, I waited. I thought she'd cool down, think it over, reach out. But days turned into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. I sent her a birthday card on March 15th, 2021. No response. I sent a Christmas card in December 2021. It came back marked Return to Sender. In April 2022, I tried calling. Her number was disconnected. I found out through my sister Patricia, who found out through a mutual friend, that Jennifer and Michael moved. They left Seattle. Nobody knows where they went. Or maybe they know and just won't tell me. Michael's mother, Barbara, reached out to me once in March 2022. She called me at 2:15 p.m. on a Saturday. "Helen, I need to tell you something. Jennifer is pregnant. She's due in September." My heart stopped. "She's pregnant? She made me promise not to tell you, but I felt like you should know. You're going to be a grandmother." "When? When did she find out?" "January. She's 4 months along." I did the math. Jennifer had known she was pregnant when she cut me out of her life. She'd made the conscious decision that her child would grow up without knowing me. "Barbara, does she ever talk about me?" Barbara was quiet for a moment. "Sometimes. Not often. She's still angry, Helen. She feels betrayed." "She feels betrayed? I'm the one who—" I stopped myself. "I'm sorry. Thank you for telling me. For what it's worth, I think she'll come around eventually. She needs time." On September 23rd, 2022, my grandchild was born. A boy. I know this because Patricia saw it on Facebook. His name is David. They named him David after my husband, after Jennifer's father. I have never met my grandson. I have never held him. I have never seen his face except in one photo that Patricia showed me on her phone. He has Jennifer's eyes. He's 2 years old now. He's walking. He's talking. He's probably learning to count and sing songs and all the things toddlers do. And I'm not there for any of it. Some days, I think I made the right choice. I stood up for myself. I demanded respect. I refused to be invisible. Those are good things. Necessary things. Other days, I wonder if I should have just kept my mouth shut. Let them take advantage of me. At least then I'd still have my daughter. I'd know my grandson. I'd be lonely and broke, but I'd have a family. I don't know which days are right. What I do know is this. I'm 74 years old now. I'm retired. The mortgage on my house is paid off. I have $63,000 in my savings account. I volunteer at the hospital 3 days a week. I have friends. I have Carol, who's been more family to me than my own blood these past few years. I'm not invisible anymore, but I'm alone. And here's what nobody tells you about standing up for yourself. Sometimes you win the battle but lose the war. Sometimes you get the money back but lose the relationship. Sometimes being right doesn't make you happy. I've spent a lot of time thinking about what I could have done differently. Should I have set boundaries earlier? Should I have said no sometimes when Jennifer asked for money? Should I have made her understand the cost of my sacrifices in real time instead of keeping it all inside until I exploded? Maybe, probably. Yes. But I also know this. Jennifer is an adult. She made choices. She dismissed me. She humiliated me. She took my love for granted. And when I finally stood up for myself, she couldn't handle it. We were both wrong. And we were both right. And maybe that's the real tragedy here. I think about David a lot. I talk to him sometimes, late at night when I can't sleep. I ask him if I did the right thing. I ask him what he would have done. I imagine what he'd say. I think he'd tell me I was brave. I think he'd tell me I deserved better. But I also think he'd be heartbroken that we lost Jennifer in the process. So let me tell you what I've learned from all of this. The lessons that cost me $71,000 and my relationship with my daughter. First, teach people how to treat you from the beginning. Don't wait until you're drowning in resentment. I thought love meant never saying no. I thought being a good mother meant sacrificing everything without complaint. I was wrong. Love needs boundaries. Sacrifice needs acknowledgement. Second, you can't love someone into loving you back the way you need. I gave Jennifer everything, hoping she'd see how much I loved her. But love isn't measured in dollars, and giving someone everything doesn't make them grateful. Sometimes it just makes them entitled. Third, standing up for yourself has consequences. Real consequences. I got my money back. I got my dignity back. But I lost my daughter. I lost my grandson. Was it worth it? I honestly don't know. Some days yes, some days no. Fourth, people will only value you as much as you value yourself. For years, I acted like my needs didn't matter, like my pain was insignificant, like my sacrifices were meaningless, and Jennifer believed me. Why wouldn't she? I taught her that. Fifth, forgiveness is complicated. Everyone says you should forgive and move on, but how do you forgive someone who isn't sorry? Jennifer apologized in that letter, but it was hollow, forced. She's not sorry for what she did. She's sorry I made a fuss about it. Sixth, you can be right and still lose. I was legally right, morally right, ethically right, and I still lost the most important person in my life. Being right doesn't protect you from pain. And seventh, sometimes the best thing you can give someone is consequences. I don't regret making Jennifer face what she did. I don't regret demanding that apology, because whether she knows it or not, I taught her a lesson. I taught her that you can't treat people like they're disposable, even if that person is your mother. If you're watching this and you're in a similar situation, if you have someone in your life who takes you for granted, who dismisses your sacrifices, who makes you feel invisible, here's what I want you to know. You matter. Your feelings matter. Your sacrifices matter. And you deserve to be treated with respect and love, not just tolerated when convenient. But I also want you to know this. Standing up for yourself is hard. It's messy. It's painful. And it might cost you the relationship. You need to decide if you're willing to pay that price. Because once you open that door, you can't close it again. For me, I chose my dignity over my daughter. I chose my self-respect over my grandson. Some days I'm at peace with that. Some days I cry myself to sleep. But I'm not invisible anymore. I'm not a doormat. I'm not someone who can be used and discarded. I'm Helen Anderson. I'm 74 years old. I'm a widow, a retired nurse, a volunteer, a friend. I'm a mother to a daughter who doesn't speak to me. I'm a grandmother to a boy I've never met. And I'm okay. Most days, I'm okay. If Jennifer ever decides to reach out, I'll be here. My door is open. My heart is open. But I won't apologize for standing up for myself. I won't pretend that what happened didn't hurt. And I won't go back to being invisible. Because I learned something in all of this. I learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let someone go. Let them live with their choices. Let them figure out what they lost. Maybe one day Jennifer will understand. Maybe when David is older and she's sacrificing for him and giving him everything she has, maybe then she'll remember what I did for her. Maybe then she'll understand. Or maybe she won't. Maybe I'll die without ever speaking to my daughter again. Maybe I'll never hold my grandson. Maybe this is just how our story ends. And if that's the case, I'll survive it. Because I've survived everything else. I started this story at a bus stop on a Tuesday afternoon, being humiliated by my own child. I'm ending it here, in my small house, financially stable, emotionally scarred, but standing tall. Was it worth it? Ask me tomorrow. The answer might be different, but today, right now, in this moment, I can say this. I don't regret fighting for myself. I don't regret demanding respect. I don't regret refusing to be invisible. I just wish I could have done it without losing her. If you've made it this far in my story, thank you for listening. Thank you for bearing witness to my pain and my victory and my loss. Please leave a comment below. Tell me your story. Tell me if you've ever had to choose between your dignity and your family. Tell me if you think I did the right thing. And if this story resonated with you, if you know someone who needs to hear it, please share it. Because there are so many of us out here. So many parents who give everything and get nothing back. So many people who've been made to feel invisible. You're not alone. I see you, and you matter. My name is Helen Anderson. This is my story, and I'm done being invisible.